I felt the hair rise up in me, kneel down to clear the stone of this. I wonder how why you can't see inside the shell I wait and bleed. I felt the hair rise up in me, kneel down to clear the stone of this. I wonder how why you can't see inside my shell I wait and bleed.
Not expecting the ending.
Welcome back to episode 12. Okay, I just want you guys to know this. Whenever we have a losing streak or just losses in general, we tell RT to bring it. And he doesn't tell us what he's going to do. So this is just what we get every single time.
Shout out Corey Taylor and shout out Slipknot. I was listening to you guys all this weekend because I was just mentally preparing myself for this losing streak.
So you're telling me that you saw it coming. Looking at the schedule, you saw Brooklyn, Thunder back-to-back games. You knew we were in for trouble.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with our track record of back-to-backs, you just seen it coming.
And you know what hurts the most? What hurts the most?
That should be the next one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, please. But
next one.
But you know what does hurt the most?
What?
Is that these losses are happening at home.
Yeah.
It literally, it keeps me up at night. Because Golden One Center is supposed to be our safe haven. Instead, sometimes you walk into that building, you never know. You never know if it's a lower seeded Eastern Conference team or the best team in the West. You have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's weird that we're playing better on the road this season. You know,
I mean, that's been the Kings'
MO.
In Johnny's terminology, the MO.
The MO.
Johnny loves using that acronym.
Up the stream without a paddle. Use that a couple times.
In the thick of it. Yeah, Johnny's got some.
I got a lot of one-liners.
Yeah, you're the Kang Gang Pods version of Mark Jones.
Yes.
RT is Kyle Draper and I'm Morgan Reagan.
I'll be Mark Jones. I'll be that.
Oh man. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about the game we just finished watching, which was the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then after we talk about OKC, we're going to talk about the Kings versus Nets. So. RT, you were at the game. Can you just talk about the environment before we get into this game?
So shout out to Scott Marsh, by the way. Was in a suite. Very, very nice suite. Just very nice scenery. I saw the floor, and they were in their jerseys. They had the classic logo. It looked like it was like a beautiful court. Like in person, seeing it in person, I was very much impressed with how like it looked in person. It looked awesome.
What kind of nostalgia did you feel when you walked into the arena and you saw that?
It was good nostalgia. Like it felt like I was watching like the early 2000s. But I think tonight it was like watching like the 2008 version of it. I'm like, no. So, but I digress. But just seeing the environment, just seeing the Kings in their statement jerseys, I thought it was really cool seeing that in person. The court looked actually really, really incredible. So just seeing that from a fan perspective and seeing that from just like a bird's eye view was like one of my favorite moments of the season so far. I thought they did an outstanding job with the court design too. So they get an A+ for that.
I haven't seen it in person yet. They put out a beautiful court reveal video on Instagram, and it gives you goosebumps because it makes you think about all of those crazy years back at Arco, and then finally, it took the 40th year anniversary of Sacramento being here for them to put that court into action again, and those classic jerseys are just, that purple is
it just
insane.
Fits the court so well. It just fits, everything just fits.
That logo is made for the court.
Yeah,
for a court.
I agree.
Sure. That logo is so legendary.
We need to bring back, they call it the shield logo. We need to bring back the shield. We need to protect home court with that shield. But so far we're 0-2 in these jerseys, so I don't know. I bet Mike Bibby and Doug Christie are just clenching their fists. They're like, dude, what is happening?
It's like it's like the old. It's like I said. It's like the 2007, 2008 Kings logo.
Yeah,
because it's like you always look back and it's always the bad part, but the good part was like when like 01, 02. So I always look at the good. I always look at the positives.
Yeah, I think 2008 is when we made the change from those jerseys, right? I believe.
Yeah, I think we had them. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think Tyreek Evans' first year was when we changed jerseys. Or no. It was
the year before
Spencer
that, right?
Hawes. It was 2007 actually. 2007, 2008 season was the. I think the year that we changed to the new era.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a lot of. I mean, the first half was. Let's talk about it. The first half, I thought the Kings came out with a different type of physicality. They played like they've lost 3 games prior. You know, they came out like they were needing to end the streak, because I don't think the Kings have lost 4 in a row since last season. It's been a while. It's been a while. I mean, we haven't had a losing, or maybe even the year before. I don't know.
Before we started 0-4. I think that's like the first time. I think,
wait, no, that was when we made the playoff appearance. So it was I think it was 2.
Yeah,
let's just call it 2 years.
2 years ago,
without fact checking anything. Let's call it 2 years. It's been a while since we lost 4 in a row. So you know, like they came into this game playing very aggressive. Sabonis and DeRozan were going off in that first half. I think Sabonis had 13. Yeah, he had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and DeRozan had 19 points in that first half. So the boys came out ready to play. They end the first half down by 1. I think the Thunder only had the biggest lead of the game in the first half was 6.
I think it was 6-2. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and let's talk about Malik Monk finally getting over that ankle injury. He comes in to checks into the game, and I heard it through the TV. The Kings fans erupted.
Yep.
They've been waiting for it. Fans at home are waiting for him to get back on the court. We needed his electric, like what RT says, he's an electric player. We needed that electricity in that arena, and he brought it. You know, he played great, but it just wasn't enough. What did you see from the first half being at the game, Ryan?
Yeah, I think being at the game, I think the Kings really just matched with them offensively. You can tell, like, anytime that the Thunder were getting a bucket, we answered back. It was very, very tight. It was one of those games where you could just tell that we were kind of matching their energy, matching their offensive willpower, because that offense is pretty darn good. I mean, they're top 5 in the offense for a reason. So that was a game where I just saw where in that first half, the Kings were just matching first half. They were just matching the energy, matching transitions. Anytime the Thunder would score on a transition or a fast break, we would match that. And it was a very clean game. There wasn't like anything that first half was very clean.
Yeah, not many turnovers. I believe there was only we had 6 turnovers and they had 8.
Yeah.
So we forced the Thunder to have more turnovers than us, which was a great sign. Also, to begin the game, Mike Brown elects to bench Kevin Huerter and start Keon Ellis. Johnny, what are your thoughts on Kevin Huerter getting the starting position tonight?
Well, I've always been a
Keon Ellis. I said Kevin. Keon Ellis.
I've always been a Keon fan. I think that it's not a coincidence that we had a good start with him in the game, right? He's obviously going to be hungry, but it seems like they heard the noise tonight, right? They heard everyone saying, you know, we can't get off to bad starts. I know Mike Bibby was saying post-game, he was harping on it after the Brooklyn loss. And, it seems like we kind of did the reverse tonight. We did a good start. We hung around for the first half, for the first 3 quarters, and then lost the game late. And it's just maturity. It's a sign of maturity. So it's great that we had a good start, but at the end of the day, if you want to be a good team in this league, you have to play all 4 quarters. But I don't think it's a coincidence that we had a good start with Keon starting. I think he brought a different, kind of energy for us, and he's ready to kind of solidify himself as a starter permanently.
This is not the time where you throw out the Uno reverse card. Starting great, ending terribly. Yeah. I mean, I think Keon did. I think the reason why he put Keon to start in this game specifically was to have that SGA assignment. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he wanted to give. Because it was either going to be probably Keegan or Keon to guard him. But I like that Mike Brown put in Keon Ellis to guard him. Like, he was the only guy on the bench that scored in the previous game. Like he gave him the nod, like, hey, like, go out there and stop SGA. I mean, and
he did a solid job.
Keon tried his best.
He did. There was a possession in the first quarter where he forced SGA in almost like a jump ball spot. And normally, that spot is where SGA gets to a sweet spot. But Keon played some solid defense. There was a good defensive moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, SGA, he just gets to his spots so fluently. It's almost like just watching a poet go to work. He plays at his own pace, which is crazy, and that's why people really view him as one of the best guards in the league for a reason. He's able to play the game at his own pace. He's able to get to his spots at his own pace. He has the flow. There's some superstars in the NBA where they just play at their own style and teams have to adjust to them. That is SGA.
Speaking of adjusting to SGA, we never blitzed him. We never double teamed
Yeah.
him. He really had it his way, and we never really put in a. Because normally when a guy's clearly going off, you throw a double at him or you force the ball out of his hands, make the other guys
Thunder's
beat you.
MO on defense is to literally get the ball out of the best player's hands and blitz them at all times. And we didn't do that.
I thought that's what we would have done. With SGA scoring 18 points in the first half, you'd think, he's in
I think he
for
had
a
like
big
12
night.
in the first quarter too.
Yeah. So
15, I think. Something
insane.
like that.
Yeah, he had an insane first half. I mean, insane game overall. But you'd think that defensively, you want anyone else to beat you but him, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that's crazy about this Thunder team is, I was telling Johnny, it's like the Thunder are so good about getting guys who you've never even heard of. You get them to just turn into elite basketball players.
And then when the head of your snake goes off right away, right? Everyone, it gets contagious. Everyone gets confidence from that. And I don't think, I've always said on the pod that I was pro Keon starting and Kevin coming off the bench. And like I said, I don't think it's a coincidence that we got a good start tonight from it. But I think starting Keon gives us another sense of physicality to start games. So I wouldn't mind seeing that going forward. It's just we need to be able to close it out. But I think Keon starting on the best player, he brings another different kind of physicality. Obviously, I mean, to be fair, he's been just as good as a shooter as Herter this year, to be honest, on catch and shoot threes. So
people would say better.
People would say better.
Yeah.
So
I
even though we lost the tail end of this game, I don't mind seeing Keon starting going forward. If anything, I really do want to see that because I just think we come out with a different mindset defensively and offensively, and it puts less pressure on Keegan. Defensively, less pressure on Fox defensively to just focus on offense and score and not give up a lead in that first quarter.
Yeah, there's been a petition out for Kings fans trying to get Mike Brown to sign the Start Keon initiative, which he finally did. He finally started him. I think he had a pretty great game.
There's a tweet from Jack, the Kings fan. He's like the one with like the Trunks avatar, and he has like a TikTok and all this stuff. Really good dude, by the way. His content is fantastic. But he was like,
"Oh wait, was he the guy that put the TikTok out about the leaky roof?"
Yeah, that's the leaky roof dude.
I watched that video and I was like,
he
said.
is so good.
Well said.
So good. So, that's how the Kings basically were in that second half. Absolute collapse. So I guess we can talk about the second half if there's anything else.
There's one more thing I wanted to add
in the first half. Yeah,
the first half. Trey Lyles, after a slow start, he finally gets his legs back under him. He suffers a calf injury. That's another blow to the team. Trey gets injured pretty early on in this game, and the refs just weren't calling much. It was like an extremely physical game.
You gotta save it for the second half though, because that's when the calls started.
It got worse. But I just want to add that the Kings only shot 5 free throws in the first half. Like, that's insane, and the Thunder shot 10. So the fact that we only got to the line 5 times, and they were saying on the broadcast, they're like, how come Fox can't get the type of calls that SGA is getting? And they have a very similar game. They play the exact same way. That's why Fox was so angry most of the game, is because he's like, I'm getting hacked out here and you guys don't call it. But when SGA goes up, he gets every call. But yeah, I just wanted to add that.
That's fair enough.
One other thing a thing that I saw just overall in this game, especially in the second half, Keegan Murray's offensive rebounding was crucial. I mean, it got us second possessions. He looked very active on the glass. You love to see Keegan Murray active on rebounding. So that was great. That was a plus. But things took a turn very quickly in that third quarter.
Bad.
We got outscored. I think it was 34-24 in the third quarter. The Thunder were just on a mission. There was one moment in the very beginning. I think the Thunder took a 77-74 lead, so we were up at that point, and then they take the 3-point lead. And Mike calls a timeout, which we've been talking about in previous pods. He normally lets it explode to a 10 to 12 point lead, and then he calls a timeout. We talk things over, and still nothing
didn't work.
happened. It didn't work this time.
Well,
but I was glad to see it when it happened.
Yeah, no, me too. I was with my uncle at that game, and my uncle said like the same thing. He's like, Mike Brown's got to call the timeout like right there, and it was just,
and then he did right on cue. See, like, that's something that, like,
from a live standpoint, you can just see it too, where the players just look gassed. Like, watching it is also kind of another thing where, when you see like stuff happen live, it's like, oh, you can feel the tension almost like in the arena.
You see
in
the
a way.
bench reactions and the coaches'
you could just see
facial
like
expressions
the
and stuff.
OKC, you could see like the OKC bench, was starting to stand up. And that was a moment where like you look at that bench and be like, all right, timeout.
Yeah, so it was good to see an early timeout, but yeah, the remainder of that third quarter was pretty ugly. Sabonis had like 2 offensive fouls back to back. There was no rhythm at that point, and they were just making all these threes, and you're like, what? They're like, I don't know who these guys are on the Thunder. It's bench.
Kendrick Williams.
Well, okay, I know who that is, but there was one guy whose last name was Mitchell.
Yeah,
dude. He was
like AJ Mitchell or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Katie Christensen mentioned him. I think he went to Katie Christensen's alma mater. She said, I forgot what she
UC
said.
Santa Barbara.
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'd love to see
was
a
a gaucho.
former Cho. That's what she
Former
said.
gaucho.
No,
Yeah.
she didn't say gaucho. She said, it's great to see
Joe.
another Cho out on the court. And I was like, yeah. And then,
Shout out Gabe Vincent too.
yeah, I mean, but,
Another gaucho.
Gabe Vincent's not a part of this game, but.
I know, but I just want to give my shout out to him.
I was like, did he get traded?
No,
Shouting out Gabe Vincent.
Because Gabe Vincent,
Sacramento,
Stockton
native.
209.
Yeah.
Shout out 209.
Okay.
But,
I mean, but that's the Thunder's MO is like they don't have the big names, but they have an identity. And I was telling you this off the pod. When you have a team of just selfless players that don't care who scores, they just play hard. It's scary, and you always have a chance to win. And that's why they were successful last year. That's why they're successful this year. Obviously, they have Shea, they have J-Dub, they have Chet, but they have so many guys that don't. There's no ego with them. They just play hard and they do what their coach does, what Coach Dogno tells them to do. And he's one of the best coaches in the league. Kudos to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's so impressive.
He's doing a great job. With
so
the Thunder.
impressive. Yeah, I mean, Cason Wallace, another guy. Aaron Wiggins, he normally comes off the bench.
He had a great game.
And he filled in for Caruso.
Yeah, for a starting position tonight, he played great.
There's another guy, that Isaiah Joe.
Oh my god, dude, that guy is lethal from 3-point range.
Yeah.
My god.
It's so
And
crazy.
They had Trey Mann last year, and Trey Mann's cooking at on Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
So just imagine if he was still on that team.
God.
And then Hartenstein, dude. The Thunder are going to be a good team for a very long time.
Yeah.
They have so many draft picks stacked up. You're like,
And
dude, they're only going to get better and better as years go on.
And you see their post-game interviews, right? They always have the whole team huddled, whether it's around Shea.
I love that they do that.
They
And
just have
start
great
barking
team
after.
chemistry,
Yep.
and they just look like they enjoy playing with each other.
Yeah.
From top to the bottom, from Shea to the 15th man on the bench.
I will say this too. I want to give my flowers to Jalen Williams. That dude, I think, will be an all-star this year.
Yeah, no one saw that coming.
No.
When he got drafted.
Jalen
They thought he'd be
Williams-
good, but they didn't think he'd be good this quick.
Dog. Like
Yeah,
he
he's a
is.
dog.
He is a dog. Just does it all. Like he's like their second. He's like their secondary, like Shea. It's almost like Shea is there, and then you have a Shea Jr. and Jalen Williams, who's like a better shooter than Shea.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. And like just the way that they're so developed, it's insane. I thought coming in, like the Thunder were going to take a step back and be like not the 1 seed, but like a top 3 seed. They have like shut me up, proved me wrong.
Yeah.
Without Chet, and it's just the fact that they are able to do this is scary.
Yeah,
Like
the fact that they
Giddey's
do it
departure.
without their second best player.
Yeah.
Like they don't change their style of play at all once like
Right.
a major star on their team goes down. Like the fact that they're like for us, for example, when guys go down, you could clearly see how it affects us. But for the Thunder, that gives like guys on the bench motivation to come back and like fill that void of missing them. And like that's what we need on our team. you see how the Thunder have just had so much success in the SGA era.
I have something to say. I'll have something to say.
Say it.
Oh gosh, I mean, I don't know if I want to save this for after the Nets game or before we talk about the Nets.
Oh my god, can we need to call this something like
This is a
like
therapy session.
is this like
This is
a
an RT hot take.
yeah is it
No,
like is it a
this
hot
is like-
take or is it like
it's
a
a RT rant? This is like
oh, okay, this is our
RT's
first
rant.
edition of an RT rant. Feel free to make eye contact with the camera. We'll just
All
sit
right,
back and
well-
listen.
Children are watching.
Yeah.
Close
Any
the door.
parents out there,
Language
turn the volume
might get-
down.
yeah.
Please. You know how it gets. I'm just going to... Here. All right, RT, the floor is yours. RT's rant. First ever on the Kang pod. I'm very excited to hear what he has to say.
Monty McNair. You are not the cute boy with the blue jacket and the thick accent. Your ass needs to be in the GMs. You have to call every GM, basically figure it out, because what is happening with the last 3 years is we lack size. We lack bench size. We lack wing defense. We lack all these things that make us happen. I feel like the word that we've said the last 3 years in the Mike Brown era is physicality. When you look at all the teams that are successful in the West, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Dallas Mavericks, the OKC Thunder, the Golden State Warriors. Pelicans also too, yeah.
Not this year.
No, but they're hurt. So they're probably going to get Cooper Flag and even get more physical. So, but all of those teams that have given us problems over the last 2 years, all of these teams have one thing in common, and that's physicality on the wing. They are lengthy, and we don't have that. We basically give up Davion Mitchell for a guy that we cut in the preseason that's supposed to be our solving problem. 2 years ago, Chimezie Metu was there. He was not going to be like the guy, but he was there to give you problems. Terrence Davis was going to give you problems. And it's just like those type of guys we miss. Nimi Keita, we drop him for a 1-year experience with JaVale McGee. Monty McNair just needs to figure it out. He needs to get his ass into the trade deadline because February 9th is coming. And if changes aren't made in the next couple weeks, our season could be very much in jeopardy. This is like the season where if stuff hits the fan, it's basically going to look very ugly. Our future looks ugly. And so we need to figure things out in a quick manner because in the West, and especially in a competitive West, when there are 12, 13 teams competing, well, there'll be 13 teams competing once the Pelicans get healthy. Let's be fair and honest. But Monty McNair needs to step it up. You don't bring in this big guy with DeMar DeRozan and go 8-10. That is unacceptable. It's very unacceptable. And if changes aren't made where you are active, especially come December, the season could be in jeopardy quick. And it could be a very disappointing season for Kings fans.
RT's spitting. As DeMarcus Cousins would say, is getting ridiculous. Is getting ridiculous.
RT's acting like Kendrick Lamar right now.
He was spitting.
RT just dropped a surprise album like K-Dot.
But imagine how much Keita and Davion Mitchell would help our team right now.
The Nimi,
Can you imagine?
That's where you like
Casey Okpala could help this team.
the Nimi Keita, I think, because you see the way he's playing in Boston right now.
We gave up on him so quick.
Yeah,
we didn't even play McGee.
We just let him walk.
That was
an excellent rant, RT.
That was
My
excellent.
God, it honestly made me like, look at my hairs are standing up.
It's getting
I don't know if you
ridiculous.
can get a zoom
that
on
in.
that. Whoever's editing
Future
this video,
Cristo, whoever zooms in, yeah.
Dude.
I hope everyone can see what's going on because it's getting ridiculous.
Can you give me a DeMarcus post-game interview?
I mean, it's really ridiculous right now. It's really ridiculous.
No trades. You get McGee for it's getting ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because, and again,
Davion Mitchell for nothing.
Davion Mitchell for
ridiculous.
a guy that you drop before the season starts.
Yeah.
And then you let go of Sasha. I mean, Sasha, he wanted to go.
That was a failed experiment. But that was a failed
It
experiment.
was a failed experiment. We tried it. We tried it.
Monty McNair, and I know he won, Executive of the Year his first year with us, but he has never been on the hot seat more and under the spotlight more than right now. And because of so many failed attempts to get better and these 1 to 2 moves that he's tried to make. Don't get me wrong, he's made some really good moves, but the bad moves he's made have been bad. And we're at a point now where it's make or break. We need to take that next step, and he's not showing, he's aggressive, but not the right ways. And he's not making the key moves. You know
and I think Gilbert Arenas said it perfectly.
Don't shed light on that.
No, I have to. I'm sorry.
Look in the camera. Look in the camera. This hurts
to hear. If you haven't seen the Gilbert Arenas podcast, basically what he says is that if the Kings don't figure this out quickly, De'Aaron Fox might be gone. And it's like the Boogie situation all over again.
He's not wrong.
It almost is.
No, I know. That's why it hurts to hear.
He's not wrong.
But here's the thing, though. And again, Monty McNair, he could trade him to the Boston Celtics and then get in return Cheeto Puffs. That's how he's gonna view it. It's basically like Drew Holiday and first round picks.
Yeah.
So unless things figure out quickly, I mean, it is not looking good.
Yeah, that is the one thing that does make me nervous, because if we do not have a successful season, the ball is in De'Aaron Fox's court with his future. He needs to think about, he's in his prime right now. He's seen in his 8 years, one successful season. What I mean, like,
I say 1.5.
1.5. Okay, we'll give him that. But like, you don't.
He's
like,
peaking right now. He knows he's peaking,
and like he knows that he wants to win. And like if he sees that his team is just continually a decline, that's what makes me nervous. And then that's why when you said Gilbert Arenas' name, I was like, oh God, here it comes. Yeah. I don't think I would have never expected that we would have had this conversation this early.
Yeah,
that is what's a little alarming to me.
The silver lining to this is Monty has shown to make pretty good in-season trades, right? Obviously, the Sabonis-Halliburton trade, dumping Bagley for DiVincenzo. He's known to make good in-season trades, but time's running out. And the season's not lost, right? The season's still very much, this is all.
But we got to figure it out.
But we have to figure it out. And Monty is under the spotlight even more so than Coach Brown, even more so than anybody. I think it's Monty's direction, and the ability to make a trade will save our season. And he's shown the ability to do it. He's always been, outspoken in the media about how aggressive he wants to be. Him and Wes Wilcox want to be. And we have a good amount of our picks still, if not all of them. I think this is the year, whether it's, before the trade deadline, at the trade deadline, to take the next step and to make a move. And I think Monty knows that too. I think he knows whatever big trade he makes next could be his job. It really can. It could either propel us or it could make us worse and see, we'll be in another GM search. But I believe Monty is going to...
We believe in him. We believe in you, Monty.
I believe Monty can handle the pressure. He's brought us from the dump. He's made a lot of great moves. A lot of bad ones, but a lot of great ones. A lot of good draft picks. And I believe Monty can make an in-season move that helps this team. I really do.
I think RT's emotion that he showed in his rant was not a cry for help necessarily, but
it's frustration,
motivation for Monty McNair to see what is happening with our team.
For sure.
Because we have hope in him. We have faith in Monty. We love him. We do.
Yeah.
But we're excited to see if he decides to press the button.
You don't have to be an NBA scout to watch our team and know that we need a paint presence. We need paint scoring. We need a lob threat. We just need bench scoring in general.
Oh, man.
You don't need to be an NBA scout or an NBA GM to see that. And I think Monty knows exactly what we need, right?
Christo, can you do me a favor? Can you tell us the bench points from OKC tonight versus us? Okay.
I don't want to jump back and forth here, but I think since RT is bringing up such a crucial question, I need to answer it accordingly. So, the Oklahoma City Thunder, their bench scored 40 points and our bench scored 22. So it's an 18-point difference, but let me really prove your point here. The game last night, the Kings versus the Nets outscored us 44-9. Bench scoring. So that is what is more alarming than this game.
I'll add on top of that too. Monk had like 17 of our bench's 22 points of scoring.
14. But still.
That's still over that's like 50%, majority. That's 60% that should be more points. That should be more. Like Isaiah Joe.
He had 6 points.
He can fill it up.
He helped.
Like AJ Mitchell had 15.
I think he could be. I'm very curious to see like what his role really is going to be on our team because he provides length. He's athletic. Obviously, he's a junior college product that like fought his way into the NBA. He after junior college years.
AJ Mitchell, yeah.
No, I'm talking about Isaac Joe.
Oh, Isaiah Joe? Isaiah Joe?
Jones on our team.
Oh, Isaac Jones. Yeah,
Isaac Jones, yes. So many Jones on our team. What he showed me today was, he could be he could score in the paint. He's long, he's lengthy, and he's athletic. I'm just curious to see if maybe he could. Mike Brown seems to like him. Mm-hmm. He's playing him a little bit, so I'm just curious to see if maybe he could provide some type of length for us.
He's raw.
Or if Monty McNair needs to be the one to bring someone else new in.
Raw.
There's an opportunity for someone to step up And these guys are all capable NBA players. Whoever wants to hone that opportunity and be a bench scorer for us can do that. So I think they all know that in the locker room, and they're all looking at each other. And someone needs to step up. Someone in that locker room needs to step up off the bench. They just have to. Every loss we've had, it's a balanced bench attack on the other team. The only time our bench goes off is when it's like one player, like Keelan Ellis scoring 33 points or Monk having 14, 15 points. We need a more balanced bench because every single loss we've had this year, whether it was the Hawks, the Thunder, Brooklyn, have a balanced bench, whether it's guys scoring 8 to 10 points or 15 points, whatever. It's a balanced bench unit. And we don't have that. We don't have that.
And that also like stems back to Keegan and Fox leading the league in minutes. That is in this heavy dose of starters playing. It just shows there's a lack of bench depth on our team. It really, really does. And it's a glaring sign where the productivity on your bench, you can't rely on your starters to basically get you 110, 115 plus points. It's just not sustainable.
And you need to be aggressive when opportunities come. Right. So with how much attention Fox, Sabonis, and Keegan get, you need to be aggressive in scoring, not just, pass the ball or make the right read. Like if you have an open lane, score it. And that's why Isaac Jones, I think, a lot of Kings fans really appreciate him, is because he attacks the rim. He's not hesitant. So yeah, I mean, we need someone to step up at the end of the day and make the most of your minutes.
Yeah, he plays very hard. I really like what he brings to our team.
For sure.
So in that second half, we went 1 for 13 from the 3-point line. We started 7 for 19, and then we go 1 for 13. So we end up only making 8 threes that game, whereas the Thunder just tore it up from the 3-point line. I think they improved in the second half with their 3-point shooting, where we declined by an insane amount. Another thing that happened in the fourth quarter, it was the fourth quarter. Fox, he had a career accolade tonight. Do you want to take a guess what it was?
Was it something related with a technical foul?
He recorded his 50th career technical foul. Well-deserved technical foul, by the way.
DeMarcus Cousins got that in his first season.
That's
De'Aaron 9.
That's $250K out of De'Aaron's earnings in his career, all to technical fouls. So
I was surprised he got 50.
I thought he was gonna get thrown out. He was heated, and I love seeing we love seeing a feisty Fox. So that was something that needed to be said. But yeah, we were just, man, that second half, just we shit the bed.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. Okay, let's talk about the stats. DeRozan, he had a great game. 30 points. Sabonis, 21 and 10. Keegan, 14 points. Fox, 14 points. And Malik, off the bench, 14 points. And our bench scored 22. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he had his weight tonight. Whatever he wanted, he was going to get. 37 points and 11 assists. And his running mate, J-Dub, with 28 points. And then Hartenstein, in his third game of the season, gets 17 points, 10 rebounds, and a laceration to the eyebrow by Domantas Sabonis. Yeah. Incidental, by the way, bleeding all over the face, but
laceration.
Thunder just, I know. I pulled that out of my pocketbook right there. I love
that. Matt Glore didn't know what laceration was. A guy I hoop with at the gym. We were watching the game on our phones, and he was like, "What's a laceration?"
Wait, they said on the broadcast?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just trying to use some different.
He was like, "What's a laceration?"
Wow.
Like, shout out Matt Glore. But I had to explain it to him. I was like, "It's a cut." He genuinely didn't know.
Well, I mean, he was bleeding pretty profusely out of his eyebrow.
Yeah.
Incidental, by the way, but yeah, the bench points, 40 points, insane. RT, do you have a stat for us?
I did. Keegan Murray, another double-double.
He had
14 and 10.
Oh, wow. I didn't write down the rebounds. Well, he's on track. He's on track
another
for
one.
I mean, just doing
just
incredible
making
things.
me look like a genius, Keegan. Thank you.
So we have 5 to 6 players playing good. Like, we're not going to win a game. We're not going to win a game like that.
That's pretty much what it's been.
That's the summary of what the season.
Losing efforts, it's a dominant performance from the guys who typically do well for our team. De'Aaron, however, he didn't have the game that we normally see out of him. He had 14 points, but I think it had a lot to do with the torture chamber, as RT likes to call it.
The fact that he got 14 on the torture chamber is...
Jeez. I mean,
we saw Trae Young get 9 against us.
I mean, you know De'Aaron's got a huge target on his back right now. With the Great Barrier Reef in Atlanta, trying to shut him down, and then now the torture chamber in OKC. Like, people are after De'Aaron right now because
Jaden McDaniels, I don't know what we'll call him, but when we play him on Wednesday, we'll figure out a nickname or something like that.
Wait, we play Minnesota on Wednesday?
We do play Minnesota on Wednesday.
I'm
sorry.
Come on.
The They're
Chat,
bad
we're
news.
cooked.
Come on, the Kings don't make it 5 in a row, or else you're gonna see
We
a
play
crazy
well on the
next
road, though.
episode.
The positive
alright.
perspective is
Yeah.
we do play well on the road.
And I
in
think
Minnesota.
we're undefeated when we watch games in the ESAC on 8th Street. So, or we're above 500.
Are we?
So if we watch the second half, at 8th Street.
Oh my gosh, Johnny's just
We'll have a
doxing his
chance to
location right now. I love it.
Oh,
he's just
boy.
he's just dropping a pin at where he
8th
lives.
Street's a long street.
Yeah, good luck finding Johnny's house.
I live inside Temple Coffee.
But guys, that was our 4th straight loss. Let's talk about something that I think was even worse. The game prior,
no.
we lost 108 to 103. First half, we go down not 14. That would have been not so bad. We went down 19 points in the first half. Insane, unbelievable.
What's
and
new?
I think the reason why is because
Cam Thomas had Kevin Huerter on him.
Well-
that's the real reason. Then he got hot.
So
I have
basically, not
another
a
reason.
defender.
Yeah, it looked like it was Kevin Huerter from
Hey,
last
we've
year.
been praising Kevin Huerter's defense this season.
but it looked like. But now this year, that
Cam
game,
saw cookies. He saw
Yeah,
cookies.
they got exposed.
That's why I love Keon starting. It's just Kevin's not a physical threat. You know what I mean? Like he's lengthy, but Keon is just he'll get his body on you. And
Yeah,
Kevin's
that's a good point.
great with movements, great with rotations. But I feel like as an offensive player, you don't mind seeing Kevin Huerter over Keon.
That's a good point. When you,
you
see
know what I
Kevin
mean?
Huerter,
Keon's
you're
got
like,
that dog in him. Like,
yeah. When you see Kevin Huerter on the court and he's matching you up, you're like, hey, let's go get a
That's
beer.
food.
Let's go
exactly.
get a beer.
Cam Thomas foams at the mouth.
Yeah, let's go to Device Brewery and go get a nice little drink and talk about basketball. But when you see
Yeah.
Keon Ellis, you're like, oh god, I gotta be on my A game going up against him. That's a good point,
Yeah.
Jono. But here,
Got to get Black Air Force energy with Keon for sure. Shout out Mark Jones.
shouts out one of the
Shout out
best to
Mark
do
Jones.
it. But the thing that I was gonna say, who the other X factor going up against the Kings was no one on the court playing. I think it was Jordi Fernandez. If there's one guy that knows our offense and the way we play better than anyone in the NBA, it's him who's been coaching under Mike Brown for the
He knows
past
the
3
weaknesses,
seasons.
too.
He knows our weaknesses. He's seen it firsthand. He knew how to exploit our team, and he absolutely did that tonight. He gets an A+ on the coaching meter. That's
Yeah.
3
And shout out
booms.
to Jordy. He
He's done a
won
great
tonight
job.
too against the Warriors.
Yeah, he's done a great job with that team.
We thank him for that win against the Warriors.
Yeah,
tonight.
we do.
But he like I think we've said earlier on pods, like I personally thought Brooklyn Nets were going to be a Cooper Flag running mate team, like really trying to tank to get him. But Jordi Fernandez has those young boys balling right
Yeah.
now.
I think if Brooklyn somehow makes the playoffs through the play-in, I think he would be the favorite to win Coach of the Year. I think that Jordi Fernandez makes their players play hard, and you can tell like Cam Thomas plays hard, Cam Johnson plays hard, Noah Clowney, another guy, Nick Claxton.
Clowney.
Yeah.
Talk about Clowney. Well, not yet, but keep going.
I mean, you can tell that there's just players that buy into like Jordy's system. He understands like how to get the maximum value out of his players. Like Dorian Finney-Smith, he gets maximum value. Who else is on that team? There's another guard. Oh, Dennis Schroeder. Like Dennis Schroeder.
Oh my God, dude, Dennis Schroeder's
playing his
like
lights out.
He's playing like he's wearing the Germany jersey. He's going crazy
Yeah.
right now. He's having an incredible season, but
Yeah, he's giving that team an identity
for sure, dude. Jordy, and I think another thing about Jordi Fernandez, I don't think any player who's played for Jordy has one bad thing to say about the guy.
He's a player's coach.
He
for
is
sure.
an incredible coach, and shouts out to him for I would
miss him.
love to see a Coach of the Year award go to him over JJ Redick. Even though I'm a huge fan of his old podcast, I love JJ Redick. But the second he put on that yellow and purple, I hope he doesn't get it.
No more.
Kenny Atkinson's going to be.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kenny,
yeah,
for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
Obviously.
18-1.
he's the favorite
He's the
right
favorite
now.
right now.
He
Yeah,
has to be.
yeah,
He has to be.
yeah,
He's done a
yeah.
really good job
With
in
Cleveland,
Cleveland.
my God, like 18-1.
Yeah.
Dude, insane.
Saw that
Insane. I'm glad we don't play Cleveland for a while.
Yeah.
So, like we were saying in the Kings vs. Thunder game, you can't just have 5-6 guys to win a game.
No.
We had everyone in the starting lineup had double digits in that game, which on the box score looks pretty good, but our bench ends up with 9 points, which is just that's not going to do it. And then also digging yourself in such a deep hole so early in the game when you're climbing that hill the entire game, like it's not a good look, and it's not easy to win games that way. And I was very upset after watching the Nets game because you see that game on the calendar, that should be a win, but instead we're gonna have problems with Brooklyn.
Our bench needs to take this personal. I think it's pretty clear that our stars have showed up this season. Our bench needs to look themselves in the mirror and take it personal, or they're going to get shipped away. They're going to get shipped to a different team. I think Monty is running out of time, like I said earlier. So everyone on our bench needs to take it personal. Colby Jones needs to take it personal. Whoever's getting minutes, Alex Len needs to take it personal.
They need to play like a 5. They need to play like it's like a max contract on the line.
As much as we don't want to point fingers, our bench is probably the reason we're losing most of these games, if not the main reason we're losing most of these games. Our star players have balled out. DeRozan's balled out. Sabonis has been him. Fox obviously has had a career year. So the rest of our team needs to take a look in the mirror. They're all capable NBA players. They're on this team for a reason. They need to take it personal, or they're going to get traded.
Very well
that
said,
should be
Johnny.
their mindset.
Very well said, Johnny. Stats, DeRozan, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Keegan Murray, he had a great game, 21 and 8. It's great to see him. And tonight, he was playing very aggressive.
Aggressive.
It looked like he was ready to, like he wanted to score in both games. It was great. It was awesome. Kevin Huerter, 11 points in the start. Fox, of course, 31 points, 5 assists. The only guy to score on her bench was Keon Ellis with 9 points. And that's where you shake your head and you're like, wait, doesn't a roster have like 13 active players on it?
It's 15?
It's a big number.
15.
It's a big number. And 6 people, it can't be 6 people scoring.
So what do you guys think? Do you think because I feel like Coach Brown can only do so much. Do you think it's our star players holding the Colby Joneses accountable and looking at them and saying, hey, we need more from you guys? You know, Fox, DeRozan, and Sabonis, Keegan, looking at them and saying, like, hey, we need you guys to be successful this year. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a players only meeting type thing, or what's going to get to the bench players to try to change their mindset and be more aggressive on the offensive end? Because I think having your best player tell you, hey, you need to step it up is the biggest wake-up call you can get. And are they not having these conversations? I know they're having locker room meetings. You know, during that Heat game, they had that halftime meeting. But there has to be a talk after this game, after the Thunder game. There has to be discussion from our best player to our bench pieces to give them something. So what do you guys think? What do you think will happen?
I think, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if, Johnny, like you said, if there was a players meeting tonight, like after the game. I think to answer your question, there has to be, every player has to step up. It's not just the starters. It's not the head of the snake that needs to step up. The head of the snake's been fantastic stepping up. It's a whole collective unit. Everybody pushing each other to be better. It's the bench pushing the starters to be better. It's the starters pushing the bench to be better. It has to be a full collective unit. It can't just be like the best player, oh, we need you to step up. It has to come from everybody telling to everybody, we as a team need to step up. That, I think, is the most important part, and I think that's what's lacking right now with this team.
That sparked an idea in my head. You remember that old Brooklyn Nets team with D'Lo and like that bench? They would go crazy and dance on the bench. You know, that type of, and like back with the Thunder tonight, like they do those group interviews. You know, they seem like a connected group, whereas we don't feel like that right now, and we don't visually see it. We don't, you know. I think if we, like RT said, it's a collection of effort that needs to be done, not just on the floor, but more so off the court. Like these guys need to be on a different type of wavelength together, and I think it starts with just building that close bond with each other. And like that bench, I think they need, like when Fox erupts for 60, you know, like I know they were celebrating, but like that needs to be a consistent thing that you see from our bench every night. You know.
Yeah, and I know Sabonis is, you know, they announced before the Clippers game, Sabonis called a team dinner, right? They said, you know, Sabonis wanted more team camaraderie. So I don't know if you just need more voices, because we all know Sabonis is the ultimate team player. He's the ultimate motivator. So it doesn't need to come from DeMar, doesn't need to come from Fox. Which voice is going to be the loudest in that locker room other than Sabonis's to wake everybody else up? Because Sabonis has shown, calling that team dinner before the Clippers game, that camaraderie needs to happen. Camaraderie needs to happen with this group because they don't have it.
I think if there's one guy to step up and be that voice in the locker room, it's got to be equipment manager Miguel.
For sure.
It's got to come from him.
Miguel, shout out Miguel.
It's got to come from him.
I mean, if he can shoot threes, he needs to be on our bench. He needs to be our seventh man. If he can just spot up.
You see the way he shoots those towels into the dirty clothes bin? Come on, dude. That guy's lethal. No, but honestly, I think there can't just be one voice. It's got to be everyone. You know, they got to realize what's happening with this team. We're too good of a team to be 8-10 right now. I think that needs to be the message going forward. I think another thing I'd like to see is when like Sabonis, DeRozan, and Fox are on the bench. I know they're never on the bench at the same time, but I love to see them like get animated on the bench and hype up their players. Like that's something I don't see just across like the NBA in general. You always see it. You see it with a very select few star players when they're on the bench, they fire up their team. But in Sacramento specifically, I feel like our starters, when they're on the bench, they're not hyping up their guys much as they should, because
Fox
I think that it means a lot to those young guys, and it means a lot to your bench. It gives them that type of confidence, and I think that will be helpful. And I would not be surprised if we saw a Shamber alert saying that the Kings had a players only meeting.
Yeah, I would not be
soon.
shocked.
I mean, it's better to have them earlier than later, and they're not necessarily bad things.
No.
When that happens, I think it's just they just need to have a discussion, because they all know that they're not playing to their full potential right now.
They all know it needs to come from a different voice other than the coach. The coach can only do so much.
Yeah, I agree.
Boys, we've lost 4 in a row.
We have, but Thanksgiving's coming up,
so there's a lot to be thankful for.
There's a lot to be thankful for. Let's look on the silvers.
You know, we play a Minnesota Timberwolves team that we've lost twice already this year too, and I really hope that we could walk into our Thanksgiving meals, spending time with our family, with at least one win going into the Thanksgiving event.
We've got a lot of film on them. We've got a lot of film on them this year.
We should know how to take care of business by now.
We know what to do. We just got to do it. I think everyone knows what to do. Everyone knows our bench needs help. Everyone knows our bench needs to step up. Our starters are fine. You know, Malik Monk's fine.
Yeah.
We need other pieces to step up. I think everyone knows that, and they should take it personal.
And then we play the Trailblazers on Friday, and that's a cup game.
Oh, yeah, it's them. And then in the following week, we play
and then the Rockets, right? Yeah.
So we're not pushing the panic button yet, but if we drop to the T-Wolves and the Trailblazers, I think panic button.
We just have a tough stretch of games ahead, and Portland, I mean, that should
if we lose to Portland, yeah, it's
GG's.
It's panic.
If we
it's
lose
panic
to Portland, get ready for the craziest RT rant in Kang
man,
history.
I don't know if it'll be a rant. It'll just be
RT's gonna we're gonna vlog RT.
Predicted disappointment. So it'll be like Niner Nick rants. That's like how it is.
I'm not familiar with this game, but I'm sure RT has a lot to battle with.
He's gonna be rioting at Golden One Center. We're gonna vlog. We're gonna vlog an RT riot.
I'll be coming from like Tom's Watch Bar, just like at the game if we lose on Friday, and just having like a rant in front of the arena.
RT's gonna start a boycott outside Golden One. We don't want that.
We don't want that.
Thank you so much for watching. That was Kang Gang Pod episode 12.
But what we do want though is you to tell at your Thanksgiving, you know, tables with your family, cousins you may not see for a long time, people that may not be familiar with who we are. Tell them to subscribe to our channel. Tell them to follow us on Instagram. Tell them to follow us on TikTok. And just tell them why you're thankful for this podcast. I am very thankful for this podcast. I'm thankful for my boys.
Yes, sir.
And
sweet, RT.
Yeah, and you know,
I knew it was gonna be something good when he halts. You know, something RT has something clicking in there that's gonna be something amazing to hear for sure.
But yeah, I would say just enjoy your time with your family. You know, enjoy that time. Thanksgiving is a very special holiday, and it's a great time to be with family and people that you love and care about, and connect with old people, connect with people that you may not have seen, especially at a bar. You know, at a bar, you could basically run into some old high school classmates. You can tell them like, hey, subscribe to the Kang Gang Pod. That's a good group too. So, you know, we're always trying to just promote ourselves in a
We're on
pod.
X too. Follow us on X.
Yeah,
X
we
account.
just followed on X. We'll put that link in the description of our profile so that way you can follow it too.
Yeah.
And if you've made it this far, we have something big coming up that we're all very excited about. We're obviously not going to tell you what it is, but be on the lookout. We have a very big episode coming up in
we do.
It should be uploaded in about a week and a half from now. So be on the lookout for that. KGP to the moon, episode 12. We are out.
Boom.